Dr. Adeze, I can't see you yet, but I see. Aha,
Thank
look at you. Welcome. Welcome to the. Yes, yes. So I was just saying that. So what's your? Why did you want to? You finished from University of Nigeria, Nsukka. What's the name of your campus?
University of Nigeria, Nsukka, Enugu campus.
Enugu campus. Where is it located? Where's the? Your friends are already hailing you. You are very popular.
No,
That's good.
so of course, preclinical classes we had to stay in. You would have to do 1 year in Nsukka, then transition to the Enugu campus. Then from the Enugu campus, you go to the old site campus.
Okay, I see. All right, so tell us your journey. How did you? I know you want to practice dentistry in the United States. Do you know what specialty? Do you have a specialty
I wouldn't take
in mind?
myself as a conventional dentist, right? I know for a lot of people, immediately after graduating, they want to go straight into residency, right? But for me, I'm in that stage of my life where I know that there is more to dentistry. You can actually incorporate other passion on your way to success. You know, if you want to specialize in a particular area in dentistry. For me, I'm looking at specializing at the long run, but right now I'm trying to explore. You know, dentistry in the US is very familiar with what we have back home, and I see there are a lot of dentists here in the US who are also delving into the field of tech. I see dentists who are delving into commercial estates, you know. So there's a lot you can do as a dentist. So I'm keeping my options open for now, but at the long run, definitely I'm going to do a residency in orthodontics.
Okay. So you want to be but you want to have a license to practice. That is your first goal, right? So how do you? Hello, Dr. Garba. How are you? Lawa, good to see you. Dr. Rajat, how are you? Good to see you, Christopher. So I see everybody there. Thank you guys for joining us today. Hopefully, we'll give you some information. So, but before we get started, I want you to go to there's a link on my bio page that takes you to a Telegram channel. So I've created a Telegram channel where we're going to place information. Because I think one of the things you need when you want to do this when you want to embark on this dental licensure journey, you need information. you need some. The information is out there, but we just want to put it out there so that at least you read, you know exactly what there are so many ways to get. I want to start off the bat here that you can, as a dentist from Nigeria, you can be an instructor in a dental school in America without having to do any exams, you know. So you can be paid. You just need to find out where those opportunities are. So as a dentist from any country, if you get to the United States, you can become an instructor. They are looking for instructors. The dental school, each dentist, they are looking for instructors that will teach, you know, just clinics, in the pre-clinics, denture course. I mean, this is a learning curve. You will get it all. But I want you to, so we have, let me not take too much of Adeze. Thank you for joining us. But I want you to tell us, how did you decide you wanted to do dentistry in the United States?
I think for me, it started out when I had the opportunity to do an exchange program back in school. And so my school, which is University of Nigeria in Nsukka, we were affiliated to UBC, University of British Columbia, Canada. So I had the opportunity to go for this program, which was about 1 month long. And the reason I decided to take advantage of that opportunity was to see if dentistry back home, you know, if there is more to dentistry back home. And as soon as I went for that program, I knew I needed to be here, not America. And so it started back then in 2016. And up until now, I've just been putting things in place. You know, again, dentistry is that one of those fields where information is quite scarce. You have to proactively seek for information. So as soon as I came back from Canada, I had to, you know, ask questions. What is the next step? You know, and that was where the hunger and the pursuit started.
I see. So you see, so there's information. So those who are in dental, if the dental students, so while you are in dental school, the opportunity to do what? Extension. I mean, and with that, I mean that this is a very interesting story. So you get to experience that. So how many people had it? So how come people didn't take advantage of that?
Oh
Was
no,
it only you that came
we
from the
had
school?
3 people from my own class, and before my class, there were other students, senior colleagues who had gone for that extension program in UBC. So again, it's a little expensive. It's expensive, so you would have to consider a lot of things before taking up that opportunity.
Good. So that's an option. So you got in there, and when you got back, you say, you know what, man, I have to. I cannot remain. Like, I need a chair that works. I need X-ray that works. First of all, just power.
Mm-hmm.
Just the fact that there's light. That changes. Thank you so much. I see Dr. Adekugbe. I'm gonna bring you up in a second here. So Adeza, you came in here, and what? How did you decide? Why did you not go back to Canada?
So interestingly, right, when I went to Canada, I discovered there were only 5 dental schools who took up international dentists at the time. That was 2016. I'm not sure if there are more dental schools. But for America, we have more schools, a lot of schools. So you have opportunity to, spread your tentacles. And coming here, I decided to come here because of that reason, right? While you're in the US,
Yes.
exactly.
So there are
While
more
you're in the
opportunities
US,
for
you can
you. Yeah.
still apply to dental schools in Canada. So it's a win-win opportunity either way,
Okay.
right?
Okay, and wanting to getting here, the first way. So you want to do so when you get here, you need to write your exams. So you need something that will bring you into the US. So you applied for what
I
did you
was
apply
specific. Before now, I as I said, right, I had a bit of passion for the business side of me, but I knew I couldn't come here with an MBA. It's going to be quite difficult to convince like a visa personnel that you're switching from dentistry to an MBA. So I went for MPH, which is very easy. It's a simple transition from dentistry to a master's in public health. And so I came in with a master's in public health, and this is a 2-year program. So again, there are requirements to become a dentist in the US. This 2 years is a perfect opportunity to get
for?
yourself started. So one of the requirements is INBDE, which is an exam for international dentists.
Yeah.
So you have to sit that exam. It's not a guarantee to get into dental school. It is just like JAMB. It's a JAMB equivalent,
Yes.
right? You still have to do post-UME. So it's like our JAMB equivalent. So you have to write INBDE, but for you to write INBDE, you have to be
Yeah.
in US.
You have to be
Exactly. And that
something has
was
to bring you inside the United
MPH.
States. So is that you are visiting, and prior to that time, you would have done. For you to do that exam, you need to have done they need to
Exactly.
evaluate your Nigerian degree,
Exactly.
right?
But again, as I said,
Okay. I don't want to spill the old beans. We're going to have, let's pick a date. We're going to have a days they come because you're taking the
yes.
IMBD exam, right? Yes. So we're going to bring you what date? When can you come
Dr.
online
Ovo,
with
I would
us?
have to call you and you would reschedule that.
Oh, okay. She's a wealth of information. I just wanted to introduce her to give you a taste of what somebody who is in here, who is on the journey. She's on her way to dental school. She's on her way to getting a license. And I like the way you got in. And thank you so much, Daisy. You have given us invaluable information. So all the dental students, you could open their ears. While you are in dental school, find out about extension.
Thank you
It makes a
so much.
difference. Thank you so much. God bless you. All right. Okay. All right. I'm gonna get BDK. Doctor, I call him my dental mentor. Are you able to get on? Are you able to come on? Dr. Adekugbe, are you able to join the video? All right. I need to figure it out. But so we have Dr. Adekugbe right here. Okay. For some reason I can't get Dr. Adekugbe to come in, but he's here. Let's see. I can find. So I've sent you, Dr. I've sent you an invitation. All right. So if you don't mind, you could just indicate where you're joining us from, Nigeria. What where you finish from. Before we get started. And if you want to come online with me, once I'm done, we're talking with Dr. Adekugbe. You can join us. Share your points, and we'll take it up from there. I've tried to add you, Dr. Adekugbe, for some reason. Tube. Anyway, we'll figure it out. For some reason, it's just not. Dr. Bunmi, are you able to see? Are you seeing my invitation? You say you are unable to join. So, Dr. Adekugbe went to Bunmi. Yes, thank you.
Okay, let's get this going. Yay.
Okay. All right. So, what do you have behind you there?
All smiles, monster.
Monster in Indiana. He takes all the way from Ibadan. This is an Ibadan guy. He's an Ibadan dentist. I met him in Ibadan. Where I know everybody in his family, and here we are. Yes. So Bunmi, we're going to get started here with. All right. So you tell us your journey. You were in dental school in Nigeria, and you had a vision of coming to the United States. I want you to just take us through your journey. I don't know. Sometimes when we finish all those exams, we don't even remember what we did anymore. So I don't know if you can remember all the exams you did and how you got yourself prepared. Something that Adeze just said, Dr. Adeze just said, she talked about evaluation, the ECE, and so did you do? So when you started, how did you start?
Well, it wasn't like there was some grand master plan about how things were going to evolve. I'm thinking back that many years. The one thing that I know that I wanted was to be able to practice dentistry at the highest level possible. And I knew that maybe the environment and the opportunities I had were not going to give me that ability. So even when I was a dental student, I think Dr. Adekugbe mentioned the fact that you have to give yourself the opportunity to get externships. So I remember probably it was 2001, maybe 2002. My school at that point didn't have externships. I'm talking about externships abroad. It wasn't something that was traditionally offered to dental students at that point. So I remember that my sister and myself, we found a way to get into, I think it was King's College in London, just to get an externship there. And the authorities were kind enough to offer us that externship, even though we didn't get the visa then. But it was something that was always there. But talking about the specifics of the journey, my cousin is making fun of me here, saying that the dream was one in K2, right? but all kidding aside, the journey actually started even way before any exams were written. I think that's something a lot of dental students don't usually pay attention to say you're not going to become a dentist, or you're not going to become that dentist you want to be the day you get your BDS or whatever degree. It's actually something you start to lay a little bit of framework or foundation for even before then. But getting to the specifics, I know way back when I did the MPH, which is what I think Dr. Adekugbe also did, and that's what got her into the country. But I think then we did the NBDE, which is quite different from what they do now.
Yes.
We did the part 1, part 2 then. That was the exam that got me into the dental training, or into the dental line of things. Can I share a little bit of a personal story about that, if you don't mind?
Sure. Please go ahead. I mean, this is your. We're here. Everybody's
I
here.
feel like a celebrity. I mean, I usually don't.
You have done this now for almost. You have been on this
Okay,
for more
so,
than 15 years.
the one part of my journey that I would love to share with people is when I started, so I never really planned to go to I wasn't sure if I wanted to go to dental school. I guess that's the best way to put it. It was something like, I was doing pretty good in public health. I was getting visibility. I was writing papers, and it felt like, this is what I wanted to do at that point. But I spoke with my program director, my mentor then, and I said, hey, I think I'm doing pretty good in public health. Do you think I should try and get a clinical license to practice? And he looked at me like I was on some crazy, I was on some drug. He's like, of course you should. And I asked him, I said, why do you think I should? I mean, I'm doing public health. I'm doing pretty good here. Why do you think I need to get the license to practice? And he says, you would never become a state dental director if you don't have a DMD or DDS. That's the American equivalent. And I said, what do you mean by that? He says, you might have all this experience as a researcher, but if you don't have the license to practice, you're never going to be able to rise to the heights that you do have the potential for. So I think for me, that's when the light bulb went off, and I'm like, you know what, I think I have to do this. So sometimes I know there might be a few people who might be debating, should I not? I think it is important to, I think it may not be for everybody, but for those who really, really have to or want to, I think you really have to go after it, because if you're going to do this at the highest level, there's just no way you're going to be able to do it without your license.
Yes. I mean, having a license is critical. I mean, coming here, even if you get a job, like I was saying, everyone, I used to make two things. First of all, if you go to the bio page, the link on my bio on this page, there's a link that takes you to Telegram. So that there's a channel called Dental Licensure. I just created a channels where we can gather, so we can, so I put two papers, I've been, we always have papers now. There's so much information. It's written down. You just have to find it and read it. The information is already there for you to practice in America. People have written about it. Everything you need to do is written down. So it's not a mystery, And for me, I want to gather the information. I'm going to put all these papers that people have written about the process, on there. So right now, go there and be a member of that channel so that you can. I already put the information that you need for today's, like what he's talking about right now, is already written down so that you can have a copy for yourself. And the next thing is that you need to call in your friends. Let's share the information. And also, some people back in the day, when they get information, they don't tell anybody. That's the way. They just tell your friends. You don't know who might help you. You don't know who you will help in the future. So just gather your folks together and let's do it. So you did, Yinka, I'm going to step back a little. Bunmi, I'm going to step back a little bit. You did an MPH at Harvard, and while you were in school, right?
Yeah.
You had not graduated.
Oh, the weird thing was actually the first day I got into Harvard, I actually told the lady there, I'm like, I'm a dentist from Nigeria. I think I was still going through the financial aid process then. And I told her, I'm like, I'm a dentist in America. It's very likely that I might have to go back to dental school. So that means I had to get student loans, of course. I mean, not everybody gets student, but I needed student loans. So I hadn't even started paying for my MPH, and I was already telling the financial advisor that it's very likely that I might have to spend maybe a couple $100,000 more. That does not make sense. Now, the weird thing is she says it didn't make sense. I mean, in her mind, she couldn't imagine that I was going to be spending, I think the tuition was about $50,000. Yeah. And now I'm telling you that it's very likely that I'm going to be spending another $100,000 or maybe $200,000 in a few years. And right there, then she said it didn't make sense, that she wouldn't advise to do it. And when people tell you that, I don't think that's a good idea. They're not telling you, they're saying it's an advice, but they're saying it in the strongest possible terms that it was a bad idea. But I'm glad I didn't listen to her, because it turns out that that's probably one of the best ideas in terms of moving forward. So the answer to your question is yes. From the very first day that I started the MPH program, it was always at the back of my mind that I was probably going to have to get an American license, and that's obviously the pathway of going through.
Okay. You know, so if you want to practice dentistry in the United States, you need to come
Yes.
you need to be in the US to
Yes.
take the exams. So how do you come into the US is what there are options. You know, for me, my story is quite interesting, and I got married. So marriage brought me here. So it was like I made up my mind. You know, so some people, you know, back in those days in fellowship, people were getting engaged and all that stuff. You know, I said, you know, do you have? I was quite specific. Do you want to travel? If you don't want to travel to the US, we are not doing any relationship. I'm not into any. People are looking at me like, come on, get involved. I'm like, no. I'm going to, this is 5th year in dental school. I say, I'm going to America. So I ask any lady that is dancing, we are dancing, when you get close, when I ask you that question, you don't want to go to America? Okay, stay there. I'm moving on. I said, I'm going. So you got to set a vision for yourself, and everything's going to line up. You're not scheming or anything like that, but you must have. How do you get to the US? So you can get to the US by marriage. You can get to the US by getting
I'll tell you,
master's degree.
No, because a lot of people, now, there was nobody in my family that had been in the US up until that point. I mean, yeah, there was family ties to the UK. I mean, my parents probably had ties to the UK. So UK, I kind of understood. And if I wanted to go to the UK, I probably had a path there. But the US, there was nothing. So for me, a master's was the only way that I knew that I could at least be able to be physically present in the US to then be able to then take the exams. Now, a lot of people don't think about those things very well. So if you rewind back to 2006, when all of this process was playing out, okay, let's even say 2004, 2005, I actually got a master's into Emory University in 2005, I think. Now, it was a good program, and I called a friend of mine who happens to be a friend, is the husband to a friend, to one of my friends, and I told him that I was so excited. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to be going to Emory University, and I have these admissions to go do, I think it was Masters in Environmental Health and something with environmental health. And he looked at me and he's like, so how are you going to pay for it? And I was looking at him, I'm like, I don't know. He's like, you're going to go into a program and you haven't figured out how you're going to pay for it. Now, it turns out that by the time I got into the Harvard program came with funding. Now, the lesson there is not the fact that you can't get, and I think the first thing is you need to get admission. The second thing is you need to get an admission that will kind of pay for itself.
For your, yes, you can become a graduate assistant. So if you follow that route, so people get graduate assistantship from all the way from Nigeria. So you just need to apply and ask for it. So there's some schools, and there's so many schools, so many public health schools across the country. There's, you know, when we talk with Ada, she's going to tell us the ones she got into. I mean, you know, Nigerians everywhere. There are many schools. So we're going to discuss that MPH route in detail next time. Next time we come online, I'll put information on the group there. You know, you want to, how to get in. You can come for a conference. You can come to the US for a conference, a dental conference or whatever conference, and plan to write your exams while you are there. So prior to that time, you should have been trying to get your results evaluated. Your dental school, your transcripts, you need to evaluate them so that you can pay for the exam. You know, I'm sure you guys know about it. But if you have any questions, if you have any questions, please type in your questions. Or if you want to come online, let me know. Type your questions so that we can meet your kind of answer whatever questions that you have, so that we're not just rambling on what
and an often overlooked thing is that thing about evaluation, because I think the organizations that do the evaluation, they have very specific requirements on how evaluations should be sent and where it should be addressed and those kinds of things. And those are some steps, critical steps in the process that if it's not handled properly, it's going to delay the timelines, because sometimes everybody works on a timeline, meaning you are going to be finishing your MPH or whatever program you're doing, and your hope is that you'll be able to write the exams, and after writing the exams, get admission, and then be able to proceed on to the next step. So the evaluation, and I don't know what the requirements are in 2023, but way back then, a friend had told me that you have to have it sent from your school. It has to be addressed. So there were even some documents that I had in the US that I had sent back to Nigeria so that it could be mailed from Nigeria back to the US. So my point being, you have to know what the requirements are today.
okay, I mean, just to add here, you know, there are some schools in. So I was reading. I'm going to post the paper written by a friend of mine about the number of the category of students that are usually in the US. So you have a lot of Asians and people from Asia. They are the ones, Indians, you know, Philippines. They are the ones in the US. Africa has no, they are not taking, I mean, we're not many, first of all. How many dental schools are there in Nigeria? How many people do they graduate every year? So in India, they have like tons. So they have Indians, but Indian schools prepare their students for America. There's some Indian schools, you know, when they are giving grades, you know, our instructors, when they don't think like that. You know, Nigerian instructors, they keep A for themselves
most
sometimes.
times.
You know, so we are scored really poorly. We are graded, given really poor grades, you know, in dental school. So when you come here, they look at your transcript. It's like you know, Indians give themselves you know, so their students, they are always, it's not as if they are better than us or anything like that, you know. But it depends on your school. I'm sure folks, you know, who are in Iraq, I don't know what the situation is, but if you have any, you know, something common, just let me know. So the way you got to try to excel in your courses. That's what it means. So you cannot just say, oh, just leave it and just go. You get a poor grade, and the poor grade, they look at you like, oh, you did very poorly in your dental school. Why should we take you in your, you know? So, you know, so doing an MPH to strengthen, an MPH strengthens your admission possibilities. And for me, I was a missionary dentist. I was traveling, public health, you know, I was traveling everywhere. You know, so when I got to the school, they said we like a guy who travels, who has done missionary dentistry. So helping people gave me the admission. I mean, I had left school for more than 10 years, and my brain was not even thinking dentistry like that. So when I got in there, they liked me because I'm helping people. I had like tons of outreaches that I had gone to, and that's what I was talking about. So you don't know what would help you. Sometimes somebody mentioned networking and mentorship. I mean, that is what this exercise, what we are doing right now. I want to be able to link you. I have 50 people like Dr. Adekugbe that I can reach out to who can be a mentor to you. But I think you need to get, if you want somebody to be talking to you more constantly, then you have to buy some credits. But for this one, every month we're going to have a free session, you know, where you can, but if you want to be asking somebody and texting and calling, it's time. Time is valuable. So we will know that we're not wasting our time, just to put some commitment to it. And that's, I mean, if you want to get more, but for this, we're going to have this every, let me see here. Somebody was talking about, so how could you come again with your research and license bits? Yes, research. I'm going to bring on next month Dr. Romesh from University of Michigan. The guy told me that, you know, you can come into one of the dentists. There's a dentist from Nigeria who visited, and she's likely to get a job soon. They are looking for instructors in every dental school, irrespective of whether you have a license in the US. They don't care, because they don't have. They will give you a provisional license in the clinic, you know. But you know, most of the people from you know, Middle East, they are all there. Most of them, some of them, they don't have a license. So you can teach preclinical dentistry. They're going to be paying you while you are there. You're taking your exams. You know, so you got to find a way and research. Obviously, you can do some research. Dr. Bunmi, can you talk about
funding? Right.
Somebody just asked about networking and did you have? How did
oh my
networking
goodness.
and
it was everything. So some of the people that I'd worked with so like your journey, when you said how did you get into dental school, the fact that you were a missionary was a strong thing in your favor. I guess it was the same thing for me. Now, all those years I was working in public health, I'd gotten to meet a few people who were kind of like, I would consider them movers and shakers in public health dentistry. Now, one of them happened to be my mentor, and I told him, I said, hey, I'm thinking about going to dental school. And he says, so what school are you planning to apply to? I said, I wanted to apply to the University of Pennsylvania, UPenn. And he's like, oh, that's the school I went to. I'm like, okay, that's good. He's like, you know what, I'm going to write you a letter of recommendation. So follow the story. So he writes me this letter of recommendation. And obviously, he's a very, very prominent alumni of the school. I mean, we're talking about somebody who is very well respected in the school. So that gives you a little bit of an edge. So the day I go for the interview, it turns out that that's the only interview that I had. So I go for the interview and I slip them as soon as I walk in there, they just looked at me. They're like, were you the candidate that Dr. Alukian, that's his name, Marion Alukian, they're like, were you the candidate that Dr. Alukian wrote the letter for? I was like, yes. The next thing she says that, oh, he was our alumni speaker last week or maybe 2 weeks ago, that he was just on campus and he was such a fantastic person. I mean, I smiled and I think it was the year that he won Alumni of the Year or something. So I smiled and I'm like, yeah. And he's like, oh, he's written very, very a glowing recommendation about how, well, fantastic you are and all that. And with the interview was a breeze. In fact, the next person that interviewed me said, oh, you're the candidate from Dr. This. I'm like, yes. And he says, come into my office. And we didn't even talk anything that had to do with dental school. It was something completely different. So there is no underestimating the fact that when you have the right mentors, they will be the ones that will speak on your behalf and say, you know what, this is a candidate that we think will be a good fit for your dental school. And it makes your journey getting into school and through school even that much easier. So it's never too late or too early. It's never too early to start to network with people, especially not because you're trying to get something from them, but who knows what resources or people that they have in their orbit that might be able to get you to that next level. So that was a personal story of how a network that I wasn't even actually nurturing ended up becoming my admission ticket.
You know, so like I said, you know, there's a link on my bio page that takes you to a Telegram account where we are going to Illinois dentists. Now, thank you so much for putting that up. And I think, yes, you said okay, the loan process. You know,
so when it comes to the funding, and I know a lot of people worry about the funding, meaning, oh my goodness, where am I going to get the $200,000, $300,000? I think it's a valid question. But I think it's a question that really should come maybe after you have gotten the admission, because there's access to loans. I mean, most international students may not qualify for some of the government loans, but with the right cosigner or somebody who believes in you co-signing for you, I think many of those loans will be made available to you. So I'll tell you another personal story, because I mean, if you don't share your personal stories, people would think that you're manufacturing things from nowhere. So let's go back to my story about University of Pennsylvania. The week I was going for the interview, okay, remember, I was not a US citizen. I wasn't a green card holder. I was just an F1 student. No, I think I had H1B then, but it didn't really matter. I was not a US citizen. A few weeks before my interview for the University of Pennsylvania, someone just calls me out of the blue and he says, hey, Bunmi, there's this oral surgeon I need to introduce you to. I'm like, okay. He says, he's a very interesting person. We like him. We worked with him. I think you should meet him. So think about it. My interview was on Wednesday. This was the Saturday before. I pick up the phone and I call the gentleman. I'm like, someone just said, we think we should connect. My name is Bunmi Adekugbe and I'm a dentist from Nigeria. And by the way, he says, are you planning to go to dental school? I said, I've got this interview in a few days. He says, where? I say, University of Pennsylvania. He laughs. He said, that's the school that I went to. Okay. So right there and then, he says, you might meet ABCD people when you go for that interview. I went to the school. So he gave me a little bit of prep. But hold that thought, okay? I did the interview. I get admitted into dental school, okay? It was now time for me to fund the program, meaning I was already admitted, but I didn't have anybody to co-sign me. So all of a sudden, I remember that there was this guy that I knew I spoke with over the phone. So I pick up my phone and I say, hey, I have admissions to dental school, but I'm not a US citizen. Do you have any ideas on how we can get this done? The man says, okay, you know what? Give me some time. Let me think about it. He calls me back. He says, I'll be able to co-sign you for your program. Guess what? We've never met. He's never seen me before. We had only talked on the phone maybe a couple times. The first time I saw this man was at my graduation ceremony, meaning he co-signed almost $300,000 without having ever met me. I didn't have to do anything. It was just somebody who connected me with someone and somebody who believed in me and he co-signed. So I share that story to let you know that there are people in your orbit who may be able to help you with your journey. And of course, you have to be a person of good character. I mean, I don't think you want to co-sign
You have to be
credit worthy.
credit
I mean,
worthy.
you have to be a good person before somebody can think about helping you. But I have to say that there is help. I mean, there are helpers that might be able to help you through the journey. But the most important thing is you have to be at the right place at the right time, talking to the right people. And all of a sudden things start to happen.
First thing I want you to, the first thing is, so let's go through this whole thing. First of all, don't see it as impossible. If you see, oh, I don't have the school fees, you're not going to do it. First of all, you need to get into the US. That's what we're saying. You find yourself here, don't worry. I've seen stories. For me, I waited. I waited to become a citizen. I'm like, I'm going to access federal loans. So to your question, Dr. Umbro, there are private loans and there are federal loans, and for you to access it, they need to know that you are credit worthy. So they need someone. So if you have been here if you are in the US and you have a credit history, then the banks are going to give you, or whatever institution will give you the money that you need. But if you are new, like someone coming from Nigeria or Ghana or Iraq, you need somebody else that will say, you know what, I'm going to, I can stand as shortee. That's what it means. So you have to be a good person, because some people, when they finish going to school, they just take off. They just take off and leave. That's why most people don't read. Some people will never co-sign for anyone, because it's a lot of risk. You're putting debt on yourself and the person. But there are loans available. And I don't know, some people come with money from their countries.
I mean, I had a couple of people who came from the Middle East. I mean, it looked like they were swimming in money. So it looks like sometimes, depending on your family situation and where you're from, you might have money. Somebody made a question there that, are there ways of getting a dental license without going to dental school? That is something a lot. Okay, okay, you go. Yes. You go first.
Go ahead. Yeah. So the reason I bring in Dr. Adekugbe, because we did the same. We did that route, but we didn't take it. So if you have an NPH, so if you to get a license in dental school, I need you guys to go to that page, the Instagram, the Telegram page that I talked about. If you go to there's a document there that says exactly, what you need to do. You can get into the US by 3 routes. The first route is if you have an NPH and you do a residency in dental public health. So there are several programs. Inside that document is a link that takes you to all the programs in the United States that have dental public health. Some programs have it combined, where you do an NPH and a dental public health residency. So once you have that, in some states, you can practice. So you need to do 3 years of clinical residency. Then you can take your exams, your dental board exams, and practice dentistry. So you don't have to go to dental school. It depends on how confident you are. But Bunmi, you did the same thing. Why didn't you?
It was not for me. I mean, years ago, my goal was I wanted to see how I could circumvent going back to dental school. I was like, oh, I don't want to spend that money. And I know you and I talked about it way back then. But when I look at it, going to dental school was the best option for me. So what happened? How did my life eventually play out? Could I have gone through dental school and I was working on getting my state of Texas license? I'm sorry, let me put this up. I was working on getting my license to practice in the state of Texas. And obviously everything was teed up. I'd finished the public health residency. Now, could I have moved to the state of Texas then? I sure could have. But guess what? My wife didn't get a residency, or she wasn't training as a physician in the state of Texas. She was training in the state of Illinois. And now I'm in the state of Indiana. So the reality is, I advise most people to get the dental license if they can, because you never know where life will take you. If you go any of those specific specialty routes to getting your license, you're going to be limited to only a handful of states. And yeah, it might work out for you. I mean, Texas is a pretty big state. You might not need to.
I mean, that route
I
has
know.
actually worked out for so many people, but it's not a common route. But that route you don't have to owe there's no dental school fees, so it's huge. So if that's the way you want to do it, there's Dr. Ogechi. Dr. Ogechi went through that route.
I mean,
she's working right
and
now.
what state is she
She's
practicing
working.
in?
She's
What
having
state
a
is she
good
practicing
time.
in?
Yes.
Texas. I
She's
mean,
in
and Texas is a pretty big state. I mean, it's probably maybe one of the bigger states in the union. So if you stay there, it's good. I mean, I think it's great, but God knows I had to be in other places, and I'll tell you that I wouldn't even have wanted to have gone through any other route. And look at you. I mean, you went the same route, you did your residency, and then you ended up being the great prostodontist in the state of Michigan. So sometimes you never know where life will take you. Look, my friend, the
Yeah,
the
you will know.
neurosurgeon is hailing me.
Inside of you, you know what you need. For me, I say, I need to do this stuff. I did prosthodontics because of what I learned from dental school in Nigeria, which is almost nothing. So I say, what, I don't want to live like I want to know this thing. I don't want to have something in my mind that. Moreover, the opportunities came. So for me, paying the student loan. Everybody has a way of doing it. You have somebody co-sign for you. I joined the army after leaving dental school, and the army took my student loan away. So so there are many ways. So if you think it wasn't possible, I wasn't thinking about how to pay the loan. Some of these loans will be paid when Jesus comes. If you are working, you pay what you can. I mean, you obviously have to pay so that you can move on in your life, and you will pay. You work, give yourself some time,
and
you'll be able to pay. Go ahead. I want to answer one question here. He said, "Can I work as a DSC?" You have to work. You have to have a work permit. If you are in the US, you have to be here under a certain status so that you can work. So not everybody become as a visitor, you can have a work permit. So somebody has to apply for you.
I think sometimes I've seen a few people work as dental assistants before they eventually go to dental school. I think it's a fantastic route. At least it gets you acquainted with the system, especially those in Canada. I know a lady who worked as a dental assistant in Canada, and she was able to kind of pick up on some of the culture and some of the techniques before you get into dental school. So I don't think it's a bad route, but the challenge with a lot of people is you don't even understand the culture enough. I mean, I'm a dentist now. I mean, if I have to hire a dental assistant, I want somebody who is sharp, who is able to get with it. And
yes, I mean, some dentists from foreign countries end up as lab techs. Some people just end. I mean, that's just because they can't take the risk. My lab guy is a dentist from Philippines. I asked him, dude, come to dental school. The guy said, oh, no. The guy has his powerful clinic in the Philippines. He just ends up, I don't know how he got his papers, but he's working as a lab tech. You can do, some people come here and they just don't want to go through, they go and do dental hygiene.
And the one thing we should speak to is the fact that there's still a huge need for dentists in the US. You can't even imagine the need. I mean, you would think that, oh my goodness, in the US, maybe they have more than enough dentists. Uvo, you and I practice here. I mean, there's positions that they've been trying to fill for years, and they can't find a dentist to fill it.
I mean, where I'm working right now, I hope they're not listening. They've been begging. They literally beg me. There's nobody. They couldn't find anybody. So I look for those opportunities. Where they are looking for people they can't find. That's
I practice in a certain town.
And you determine how much you want to be paid. I mean, I'm like, okay, if you don't want it, leave. I walk away. Yeah, so you're right. So
when you're thinking, and I think this is advice to somebody out there. If you're thinking you're coming to America you're coming to help. Carry yourself square, get your shoulders, square your shoulders, look them in the eye. You're coming here to help, because there's certain communities that I practice in that they can't even find a dentist. So you're coming. There's none available. So if there's anybody out there who is thinking, oh my goodness, please accept me into the kingdom, no, it's not the case. I mean,
they need you
You're
more than
bringing
you
a
need them.
ton of value. So please get, and many of the things we're trying to share with you is get yourself ready to serve, meaning learning the culture, working hard, getting acquainted with some of those things. It's getting you to be able to serve in the community. So I know a lot of times we feel like, oh my God, please accept me. No, it's quite the contrary. They need you, okay? Just as much as you need them.
Okay. I said, Mr. Cooper, you asked a question here. So I read that the BDS we get here to get DDS by doing a post-baccalaureate. Yes, you have, International Dentist Program, ITDP. There are different schools that have that program. Some are 3 years, some are 2 years. Well, 2 years of, after dental school. So you have to write the INBD exam to qualify to apply for it. So you need to pass that exam. Before we used to do like part 1, part 2, but right now I think it's easier. It's more competitive because all the people everybody, folks from everywhere. You have a lot of people. I don't have a friend of mine who's from, I can't remember if you train in India. Most people already have that. So you need to add to your faith something. Add something. Add public health work. Write your CV. Help people and genuinely want to help people, and so you can add that. Somebody asked here, Miss Bunolu, I want to ask, after dental school, can you apply for residency? Yes. Does one need a co-signer? Yes. I mean, there are so many, University of Michigan, one of these days we're going to break it down. Today is just a general talk. One of these days we're going to break it down into just talking about only master's program. There's so many programs. In that article, there's an article I placed there. There are so many programs that you can go. So get into a master's, get into the US. You can do endodontics, you can do prosthodontics, you can do dental public health, you can get into an oral maxillofacial pathology. Nobody's looking at that, but most people get in. There are many of us who just make up their mind, I want to be a pathologist, and that's what they're doing. They get into a program, and they get into radiology. Some people get into oral maxillofacial surgery. It's really, really competitive because you have to write all those ADEX exams. Some people get into periodontics and ortho and pedo. You can actually get this from Nigeria. You just have to find the programs who accept foreign trained dentists and apply. And so all these programs, they pay you. But it's very hard to find them. The ones that will pay you to do, like dental public health. I was paid as a resident. I'm sure you were paid too, right? So you get paid as grants to pay you to do it. So the opportunities are there. Let me see. Yes, it's now called the integrated. Yes, it's one exam. Did you have to take the bench tests?
No, I didn't have to take a bench test, and UPenn didn't require a bench test. Thank goodness they didn't, because I don't know what my hand skills were like at that point. So I was saved an embarrassing situation of probably not having to do the bench test.
Yes. For me, I did the bench test. It was the bench test. When I did the bench test, I went without the glasses, so I went in
and
there.
You're all cocky, right? Like, I got this.
I was trying to prep, and the professor from Minnesota said, dude, you need eyewear. I mean, the guy said it's not a problem to check your eyes. I mean, I could not. He said the way you were bending over this thing, you're not seeing this stuff. And in that bench test, people were using loops. I mean, so you got to step up your competition, because people are seeing it so fine, and check your eyes. So that's why I said check your eyes and make sure your eyes are okay, because sometimes I lost my admission.
No, I would love to speak to some of our people, maybe coming from Africa. Now, I've gone for a number of conferences in different parts of the world. It always breaks my heart when I don't see people from Africa. And I'm talking about people who practice in Africa, who then go for training all over the world. Now, I went for this training someplace in Bristol. It was a cadaver course, and I was an American or Nigerian American in Liverpool, and I had people who flew all the way from India. I mean, there was maybe like 6 or 8 or 10 people who flew from India, and I was asking myself, I'm like, where are the folks from Nigeria or where are the folks from Africa? Now, I'm speaking to something that
Yeah.
our culture of developing ourselves as professionals is not something we tend to value, meaning we don't typically invest in our ability to practice at the very best or at the top of our license, with or without dental school or with or without training. And I think the people who are likely on this call or listening are more likely to be people who want to develop themselves. But I think that it's a culture that we have to imbibe and find ways to keep getting better, or go for courses, go for seminars, meet people.
Yes. I mean, there was just the
Chicago, India.
midwinter
Yeah.
conference in Chicago. They were talk. I mean, son,
Yeah.
if you apply, you are going to get in. You come in there, network, meet people. Bisola Badmus, good to see you. I know you are in the UK. You are a scientist, right? Let's talk later. I think you're on LinkedIn. We're going to save the video online here. Yes, Cooper, you can actually get into programs in the US without having to do a 2-year. You don't have to go to school for that. You can actually get into oral maxillofacial radiology. You just have to
Now,
prove you get to that
somebody put.
residency.
I'm seeing comments here. Ugo, you don't mind if I speak to it? Someone says that they don't give them the visa, and that's a major reality, which is true. I mean, I got denied a bunch of times too when I was back there. So,
I mean, come on, man. Who didn't
yeah.
get denied? You know how many times I went to the embassy? I mean,
Oh,
more than 12 times. I
yeah,
have the stamps to show.
so let me tell you my UK visa story. So way back, I think this was in 2001. I was looking for an externship. I went to the UK embassy. They denied me. I changed the passport. I went again, maybe in about a month. They denied me. Then I went again. So I got denied 3 times back to back. So I don't think the fact that you get denied, especially for the US, is a big thing. In fact, I would even surmise or say that sometimes you may not, if the US is your final destination, you might have to go, not necessarily to live, but you might have to go for a conference in Sri Lanka, or a dental conference in Sudan, or you might go someplace where it's accessible before that US thing materializes. So what I'm saying is, your first rodeo may not necessarily be US like some people. You might have had to go to a few places before, showing that this is what you like to do. And then that's where you meet people. Sorry.
Yes, I mean, speaking to that, I want to add 2 things. We're talking about developing ourselves. So we are running an implant course, a dental implant course online. You can add that. If you add that to your if you add that to your CV, it will take you, because people, they don't want to, when you get into dental school, they are trying to calibrate you. They're trying to bring you up to par with your regular dental students.
Yeah.
So if you already know how to do some stuff, I'm telling you, they want you, because they want somebody who's not going to struggle in class. Because some people, when they get to dental school, they're struggling, how to take digital x-ray, how to type on the computer. There's so many. They need somebody who is sharp and who can get stuff. So we have that dental implant class. I'm going to put it on that page. Something you can add is a 1-month course that you can run through and add it to your CV. And also, we're going to be in Italy in October with some Italian dentist who is going to be talking about aesthetics. That conference, if you want to go, just tell me you want to go, and you don't have to pay to get in there. So we're going to take a bunch of people. We want to take he said he wants 100. We can take close to 200 people to that conference.
I was going to pick
I met Andreas Savi. I'm going to put the link. I'm going to put that the poster on that page.
I was going to speak to you. Somebody asked that, is there opportunities for shadowing? I've actually had dentists from Africa. I think I had somebody come from Abuja who came to shadow in my office. So I've got 2 offices. I mean, I'll be more than glad to have anybody in my office.
Shadowing, working as a dental assistant right here, working as a lab tech, all those things you can add just to increase. If you have a master's, you've done some research, all those things increase, because everybody's coming with a dental degree. So what makes you different? Why should they take you? The way you talk to people, the way you just just the way you are, and just the fact that even if you have traveled, you have seen how do I connect to the implant course? So I'm going to put the link
And
on there so that you can get into the implant course. Is a paid course. It's not free.
and
It's
if
not a
there's
free
anybody
course.
who is in the Chicagoland area who wants to shadow in my office, you're welcome. I've had people from Africa come shadow, so you're welcome. Akil, I see you. Good to see you. And I see a bunch of my dental buddies hailing me here. No, you're welcome to shadow in my
David Kalu,
office.
so we're, yes, Dr. Adekugbe is in the Chicago, Illinois area. So if you come on a vacation and you want to use that time, you'll find some time while you're coming. If you have a visa and you're here, why not get in there? I'm in Michigan right now, and that's where we are. You add to your faith. Add something. If you want anything, add something. What's the minimum time for shadowing?
The last person who came was with me for 2 weeks. So we spent 1 week in my office. Then we spent 1 week with one of the preeminent implant surgeons in the world. In fact, he's the preeminent implant surgeon in the world. And I mean, he was interested. Hilda Tatum.
Who is that?
Hilda Tatum. He's a very, very, I mean, he's one of the gods of, if you had to use that word, of implantology. And we got to assist. I mean, for me, and I tell everybody this, I mean, I got to assist Hilda Tatum in a surgery. So think about it this way. It's as if, what's his name? Think of Mozart playing his whatever, maybe symphony, and you get to be the one that is assisting Mozart doing his thing. I mean, for me, I'm like, I mean, if you have to watch grafting surgery and you get to assist Hilda Tatum when he's doing a graft, I mean, it's like you're watching the master do it. I mean, for me, it was like, it was a...
Dr. Adeze is adding some information here that you need a 100 hours is the minimum for shadowing in terms of right now. So she's applying, so she knows, and she's actually doing it right now. And she's going to, I think she's going to visit one of our friends in Texas where I've linked her. So it's about linking. I'd never met Adeze. We just talk online through this course, through the implant course or something. I don't know how we got, and I linked her up to my dentist, my classmate who is, so you need to talk to people. That is why we are creating this forum. I want you to go to my bio page. We're going to be signing off in about 5 minutes, okay? Because I need to get into another meeting. But I'm going to set up another call. Maybe every once a month, we're going to hold a big meeting where we can. But if you want a one-on-one, mentor, because we just need. Generally, we are going to be here to mentor you once a month. But if you want a more detailed, you want to talk to somebody more often, then you got to get some credits. I'll tell you how to do that.
And I think it's important to see that there's not too many dentists of color. I know Dr. Alexander, I mean, very good friend, really great surgeon, was on earlier, and I don't know if he's still there, but there's not too many people like me and you in certain rooms, especially when it comes to not just the training, but the ability to take care of people. I mean, I can't wait to see dentists. Not because there's other dentists that are not good, but wouldn't it be a good thing to see people who maybe have the same background as you or see the world maybe a little differently? And I'm very passionate about what I do. I think that is one fault of mine. If I was a singer, I'll be just as passionate. But right now, I like what we do. I think we change people's lives every day with what we do, and I think I see it as God's work. I see it as a privilege to do this, and I don't take it lightly that I do this, and I can't wait to see that many more people join us in making a difference in the lives of people, not just the patients we treat, but even the impact we have on our colleagues. I mean, some of the most influential people in my life and journey have been fellow dentists who just take a liking to you, they pour into you, they guide you, and they show you how to navigate the world. So I'll be available to help anybody in any little way that I can.
We do have a YouTube channel with over 100 videos on related to dental implants. So that's something we have created that you can access. So if you want to learn, there's opportunities to do that, and we are hoping to get affiliated with a dental school, such that when you're getting a certificate, it becomes very weighty when you submit it add it to your CV. Mr. Cooper, yes, the article is on there where the programs you can apply to. So you need to go back to that Telegram page where the information is going to be on there. So we're going to be on here. We're going to run this once a month, but I'm going to come back on the 16th. On the 16th, we're going to be with Dr. Andrea Savi. He's an Italian dentist. So I'll put the information on the Telegram page so that after now, if you want to ask any question, if you need any information, it's going to be on that Telegram page so that in case you don't miss out on anything or you miss out on any of our, just the messages on here. Yinka, Doctor, I call you Yinka. The Adekugbe Yinka has a powerful story. Yinka is Dr. Adekugbe's sister, and she has done the same thing.
Even more than
she has done the same thing. She has followed. Dr. You said you did that MPH. I said, okay, I'm going to do the MPH since you did it. I'm going to do residency. And Yinka has done the same thing, and it's co-signing all the things that are impossible. Don't think about them. Just plan and pray, and God is going to favor you. That's why we are keeping this open. I mean, when I was trying to get into the school, nobody told me anything. You get there. There's no. But today we have internet, and today God has put in our hearts to set up this forum so that you can ask your questions and talk to a real person and get the help that you need. And we want you here. We want you here, sincerely. If that is your dream. Some people want to. One of my friends, he wants to stay back. I said, it's okay. That's fine. We need you over there. Obviously, yes, you said there's need for representation. Many places you go, sometimes they think you're not a dentist, because of the color of your skin. But you just have to be humble about it. Somebody asked me, are you the dentist? I said, I can be anything you want me to be. Am I the dentist? I can be anything, because some of them, they've never seen, like, are you the dentist? I said, yes, I'm the dentist, no problem. I can help you. One guy asked me the other day, he said, how long have you done this procedure? I said, not very long.
Do you know my favorite joke? The joke I usually tell patients is sometimes I'm pulling a tooth. And I tell the patient, I'm like, he asks me, he's like, oh, doc, have you ever done this before? I'm like, I stayed up all night on YouTube watching videos on how to pull teeth. Are you sure you want to go forward? Of course, they laugh because they're like, that's impossible. I'm like, this is probably teeth number. Gosh, how many thousands I've pulled? But it's a joke that you say, you know what? It may look like I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, it may feel like because of what you see, but trust me, I have earned my stripes. I've been doing this for a while.
I know. On the 16th of March, we're going to be with Dr. Andrea Savi, an Italian dentist. And if you attend that meeting, you are likely to, if you want to go to Italy for that conference. The conference is October 19th to 21st. We're going to be with Dr. Andrea Savi. You guys said, I just met him in a conference. I just met him in a conference 2 weeks ago. It's not even up to 2 weeks, and he said, bring as many Nigerians as possible. I mean, come on. The link of the Telegram page is on my bio. This Instagram site. Thank you so much
for having me. It was a pleasure.
I must say, thank you. You left everything you were doing to join us this evening. Thank you so much. And the YouTube channel is going to be placed. If you just type Dental Webinar Series and my name, you will see it. But I'm going to post it on that Telegram channel so that everything you need is right there.
Thank you, boss.
Guys, thank you so much. Have a good night and
thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. So we are going to start. If you need, the YouTube channel. If you go to Dental Webinar Series, just type Onoriobe, ONORIOBE. You'll get to it and just follow us on there. I'm going to paste it. So does anybody have any question? Anything that you want to? I have like 2 minutes here. If you have a question, if you want to come, Doctor. Yes. Who else is there? I saw someone. Dr. Chukwuka, are you still here? Illinois dentists, we need to connect, please. I need you, Dr. Fagbamigbe. Thank you so much for all the insights I see. Are you available for a little talk? All right. Anyway, we'll figure it out. So let's get together. Please send me a message. Let's send me a DM. Let's speak. Send me a number. Let me call you. Is anybody here in the US already? You're already here. If you're already here, please let me know so that it should be. Yeah, it's a little different because you're already skilled one of the routes to get here. But anyway, on the 16th of March, with Dr. Andrea Savi is going to be quite interesting. Just learning aesthetics, something you can add to what you're doing already. Anyway, see you on the 16th, and we can connect in many ways, through LinkedIn, through Facebook, through YouTube, whatever. Just Instagram. Send me a message. We are committed